On this episode of Bobscaping, we're back to trim our star boxwood. This is the star of the over 1 million view video 3-minute boxwood trim, which I'll put a link on the video for you to watch. In that video, we trimmed this with our Echo power shears. And this time we're going to use our new 24-inch Toro Flex-Force trimmers. These came yesterday, so this is their first run. We have the smaller Flex-Force battery on here. This is a little lighter weight than the big one that came with the snow thrower. So you can tell how much charge these have on them by pressing this top button. You can see we have 4 lights, so it's got a full charge on it right now. So we'll give it a go. You have to watch shrubs once you get into mid to late summer. Sometimes hornets will create paper nests inside a shrub. And as you're trimming and not paying attention, suddenly you'll get swarmed and stung repeatedly. It's not a pleasant experience. So what you want to do is, before you trim a shrub, do some observation to see if you see any bee activity coming in and out of the shrub, or give it a couple bumps and stand back and see if any wasps, hornets, any sorts of bees emerge from the shrub. That seems to be more of a problem in August. And that's when you get a lot of the ground bees will get down into the ground, and I call them yellow jackets. I think it's technically a type of hornet, but you'll run a lawnmower over them or something and suddenly they'll be all over you. So this time of year you want to start watching for those nests of stinging insects. The other thing is, we're out here in the morning. It's still cool, so this new growth is turgid. It's not like in the afternoon summer heat where it tends to get a little bit wilty and doesn't cut quite as clean. So you can see it's done well over the last growing season. So let's give it a go here. Seem to be cutting pretty well. Of course, they're brand new, which always helps. So if you use a sweeping motion, it tends to keep the clippings cleaned off the top of the shrub. So here we go again. You can see I'm cutting down to where the foliage starts to get darker, and the shrub has a stiffer branch pattern to it, so you can kind of like lay the shears on that outline and just follow it once you have a good initial shape on a shrub. So these shears also have this feature here where you can press this button and turn the handle one way or the other. So like we'll turn it to the right here, lock it in, and then when we're doing this side, it makes it a little bit easier. Press the safety, this safety. pretty quiet operation. The neighborhood dogs haven't hurt us yet. If they have, they don't think much of it. And we probably aren't waking any neighbors up with this trimming activity. Now when you get to a side like this, you can see down here the branching is much thinner because it's not getting the same amount of sunlight as the front of the shrub. So you want to go easier when you're cutting these back branches. And as in every case, you want to try to leave these bottom branches longer than the top ones, again to encourage sunlight to be able to get to the lower branches and keep the shrub from thinning out on the bottom. Okay, so now we're going to go around the shrub the other direction. So we'll press this and turn this handle the opposite direction. And again, once you press this safety and pull the trigger, it stays locked. The safety stays locked. So then you just operate it with this loop. Okay, we're looking pretty good. As you can see, I didn't put any drop claws down. Sometimes it depends which you prefer doing. It takes time to put the drop claws down, but it makes cleanup faster. Problem I find with them is you're often like tripping on them, and I'd rather trim, especially when you can see I don't spray the lawn for any broadleaf weeds, and I haven't mulched this shrub in probably 2 years, so it's not a real big deal to rake up the clippings or even leave some of them on the ground to decompose. Okay, now we're just going to do final touch up here. Okay, I think we're basically there. I mean, you can see a couple places I got in a little deep, and we could still cut the higher parts off to even it up. But overall, I mean, there it is. Good for another year. That's our star boxwood. It's a winter gem. I like the winter gem because it has a glossy leaf, and it grows probably, I'm guessing, faster than a couple of the other boxwood varieties. This was just a small 2-gallon plant. Oh, I don't know how many years ago, maybe 15 years ago. So I mean, it's gotten to considerable size, and it shapes up nicely. Now checking our trimmers here, let's see, the battery charge, it's still showing 4 lights, so it's still telling us the battery has a full charge, meaning, I don't know, how many of these could you trim on one battery charge? Probably quite a few. All right, for this episode of Bobscaping, this is Bob.